Hello everyone. In today's session, let us see how to style, select all and deselect all the checkboxes using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's get started. I have indexed HTML, style.css and app.js files created, and also I referred style.css and app.js files in HTML page. Now let us write the markup. And before we writing the markup, let us run this HTML page. So right click, open with live server. Now let us create the container first. So I am using a made feature of Visual Studio Code, and if you are not aware of that, please refer my suggested video. Press enter. So it will create a div with the CSS class container applied. So inside that, let us create the checkboxes. Label, inside that I am going to have the input tag, and we are going to have the checkbox. So type should be checkbox. Press enter. Give a ID for this. ID equal to checkbox all and label name select all. In the for, let us give the checkbox all. Let us save it. So now let us repeat this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I quickly change the ID value and label value for all the elements. So this should be checkbox JS. So we give the ID value to the for. We are done with creating checkboxes, but they are all aligned in a row by default. So let us align them in column. So go to style.css, and as a first step I am going to apply some background color for the body. So background blue violet. Let us define this container CSS class where we have all the checkboxes. Container, and let's give some height 200 pixel and width 200 pixel. Let us give some margin, say 100 pixel. Let us give some background color. So background color, give some white color. Then let us give some padding too. I am going to use the display flex property to align them in a column. So display flex, and then by default display flex follows the row direction. So let us give the flex direction as column. There we go. So it is very simple to align them using the flexbox. And if you are new to flexbox and if you are not aware of flexbox, we can simply use the display block on the label. So what we can do alternatively, you can just say label, and here you can say display block. And now I am going to comment these two lines. Ctrl KC, save it. Still it works, right? So you can follow either of this approach, but I would like to have this display flex. So Ctrl KU for uncommenting, and I am commenting this one. Now the most important thing, and many developers or learners were searching online about how to align checkbox and label in the same line. So for that we can simply use the property called vertical align. We need to target this checkbox. So input and type should be checkbox vertical align, and the value will be middle. There we go. Now we have these checkbox and labels are in the same line, right? Now let us give some styling to the select all checkbox to separate it from the other checkboxes. Apply one CSS class for this label, select all label. So select option, and let's take this and define here, save it, and here I'm going to say padding, and let's use some top padding 10 pixel, and left and right we don't have. So and then let us have some border bottom 1 pixel solid and some gray color like see. Yeah. Now let us implement selecting and unselecting all the checkboxes when we select or unselect the select all checkbox. First let us access this select all checkbox. So we have the ID for the select all checkbox. Take it and const checkbox all equal to, so document dot we are going to use the query selector. So query selector, and since we are using ID, we are going to say hash or found symbol. Now let us access all these options checkbox other than the select all. So for that I am going to apply one CSS class for all these options checkboxes. Here class select option, apply for all the checkboxes. Now let us access all the checkboxes. Const checkbox options equal to document dot query selector all, because this time we are going to select more than one element, and we are going to select them using the class name select option. So take this and here use it. Function, let's say select all checkboxes. So here we need to iterate through these checkbox options, and this checkbox options is nothing but node list. Now console log it, we can see the result here. So, and here you can see that node list, right? So it is not array but node list. In order to iterate through it, we need to use the for loop. So inside this, for let I equal to 0, I less than checkbox options dot length I plus plus. Checkbox options of I dot, we have to use the property called checked equal to true. Now we need to call this select all checkboxes function from the onChange event of select all checkbox. So here we need to say onChange equal to, we need to use this function. Now just check this select all checkbox. There we go, all the checkboxes are checked, but if we just uncheck it, we don't see them unselected, right? So go to app.js. Here we can do one thing, like here we can get the value whether this select all checkbox is checked or not. So let's say const is checked equal to checkbox all dot, and we can use the property checked. So this will give the value true when we check this, and it will give the false when we unselect it. So now instead of using the true, let us just use is checked. So now just click on the select all and just unselect it. There we go. Now it works like a gem, right? So it is working as we expected. So this is one way where we create the JavaScript function and calling this JavaScript function from the HTML page. So instead of calling it from the onChange event from the HTML page, what we can do, we can simply remove this. And here I am not going to write any function. So what I do, I just listen to the change event of this checkbox all. So and add event listener. So here we are going to listen to the change event, nothing but onChange event only. So change, and then this takes one callback function. So I am going to write an arrow function. So you can use even normal function too. And here I am not going to use the for loop to iterate through these checkbox options. Instead of that, we can use the array.from method. So array.from. So we are just converting this node list to the array. So take these checkbox options, and now this has become array dot. We can use the map method, and here we are going to receive the checkbox on each iteration. So checkbox dot checked equal to, and here we can use this checkbox all dot checked. That's it. Now just refresh and just click on this and select. There we go. And this is the another way, and very clean and neat way, right? This is very simple. Just we are listening to the change event of this checkbox all, and then we are just converted this all the checkboxes to the array, and on the map we just used it. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and more videos of this kind, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.